Hey folks, welcome back to 3 at 3. 3 at 3 every business day. I bring you what we're seeing as far as unusual option activity in the markets. Today, my brother Pete was on the halftime report, so I have a couple of those stocks to share with you, along with a lot of updates and so forth. So let's get to it. The presentation today includes this disclaimer, as always, and this disclaimer is that every investment involves risk. Hate to break it to you, but every investment involves risk. And you should view this presentation not as investment advice, no, but as educational, yes, and informational, yes. So please feel free to tell friends about it. We encourage you to share information, but we also ask that if you're going to use any of the slides that we have in this presentation, please ask us first, and then, of course, cite Market Rebellion. All right, let's take a look at this. Bullish call buying in Fisker. Talked about this one 2 days ago. I said, look at these 3 different stocks in the EV space. Now, when we see something like that, 3 different stocks in the space, we figure, okay, could it be Cathie Woods? Could be. Could it be that somebody thinks something's going to happen and they want to cover their bases so they get into all 3? Could be a host of things that happen. Nonetheless, stock was $16.34, as you recall from 2 days ago, the 10th of February, and we saw 5,600 calls at the 17 strike trading for 22 cents. Well, how do you think that worked out? With the stock trading up to 20 bucks. Okay, 1990. All right, 1990. Traded up to 1990 today. It's 1871 moments ago. It's 21% pop. Bang! That, my friends, is why we trade options, because you get that kind of leverage, that kind of freaking feel good. I mean, take a look. 17 calls. What are they worth at 1990? Oh, $2.90. Obviously, difference between strike price 17 and where the stock was on the highs. Did I sell it there? No. But I certainly did catch a nice wave in this one, and a 22-cent call went all the way to over $2 and I believe 60 cents. And again, you have an in-the-money call. You could sell stock against it. These were calls that expire today, Friday, the 12th. So you had to be quick, and you hit the exits, you use your discipline. Remember, discipline dictates action, DDA. That's what we're all about. So that's the first update. How about this one, Beyond Meat? There's me again with my, I guess, Christian Bale American Psycho pose. And there's Beyond Meat, 169. Well, how did it do? Well, let's see. So those February 180 calls, because that's what they were buying, February 180 calls, you see that. They bought the February 180 calls with the stock at 171.79. They bought those for $3.10. These are options that expire next week, not today. It would have a 12 in front if it was today. These are options that expire next week. And look what they traded to, $8. Not quite a triple, but very close to a 200% gain on your trade. And that's if you bought that. I bought a lower strike because that's what I do. I don't like to chase those high out of the money calls. So I bought a lower strike, sold the 175s against it, and my trade will cash out at $5 today because I did a short-term option because the rest of you guys screwed it up, or maybe it was our subscribers, but so many folks piled in that the deal was kind of screwed up, so that's what I had to trade. All right, let's get to this one, which is, of course, Live Nation. My buddy Josh Brown talks about this one, loves this one. So do I. I love it because of unusual option activity, and it's a reopening play. Stock was $79.09. They bought 6,100 February 80 calls. That's what the stock at 79. So basically, you're at the money play. How did this one work out? Oh, rather nicely. Rather nicely. Let's take a look. Stock traded to 84 today. So if you had these 80 calls and the stock trades to 84, you know it's worth at least $4. $4. Bangs. Again, and the stock
That's why
trades.
we trade options, folks, because you don't get that.
I mean, look at the stock. Stock's up 2.4% today. Woohoo! On the other hand, our options, better than a 150% gain in 2 days. All right. Anyway, Live Nation, love it. Stock traded up to 84. It's now 83-ish. And since these options were for regular February, I have taken virtually all of mine off. I think I have 25% left on this trade. Another update, Momo. So this is one I also just talked about. Stock was $17.23. They were buying this Friday, 12th of February expiration. That is today, folks. 1750 calls with the stock roughly at 1750. And it traded through 20. So 1750 calls and it trades through 20. You know, at 20, a 1750 call is worth $2.50. And they were buying these for 34 cents. So again, if you ever ask yourself, I wonder why Doc trades options. I trade options because options give me that kind of leverage. I define my risk when I enter. That's one big thing. Second big thing, leverage. Just like Mr. Wonderful loves money. That's my buddy Kevin O'Leary. Well, I love the leverage here. Was it 10x? No, wasn't 10x. But how many times does 34 cents go into $2.50? Yeah, you get the idea. It was a good trade. Bang. And we're not done yet with the updates. Another update, Crowdstrike stock was 231. They're buying the upside 235 calls with a 2 week from now expiration. 2 weeks from today, not next Friday, the 19th, but the 26th. And gee, the stock traded to 245. So intrinsically, that's in the money. Intrinsically, those calls were worth $10.42 when we triggered that 245.42. So whatever you paid for them, my friends, this was a windfall. This with the stock at 231. Stock popped by $14. Great. Whoever's in the stock, I am happy for you. You should trade the stock if you don't understand options. But if you traded the options, let me just say you did a little better. And you had defined risk on entry. Bang. How did that spread do? Well, the 230, 235, basically $5. Bang. And you could do that by locking in, by just one trade, you could buy the 235 puts to lock it in. All right, Market Rebellion. I encourage you to subscribe. Why? Because then you'll get every episode of this 3 at 3. Also, you'll get Pete's The Take. You'll get AJ Monty, our chartered market technician. You'll also get my Compound Interest podcast. You get all of that for free. Yeah, I know, we're crazy, just like Crazy Eddie. We're crazy. But if you go there to YouTube and in the search bar, if you type in Market Rebellion, you will see this. If you subscribe, then you'll always have an access to all of our podcasts, live streams, everything. We put it all on YouTube. We also hit LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You guys know that. But here's a way you could just kind of sort through it at night. If you click that little bell next to the subscribe button, you'll also be alerted every time there's fresh content there. Just saying. So check it out. It is all free. Don't have to give a credit card. Don't have to do anything except just be a member of YouTube and click subscribe. Thank you. Tell a friend. All right, let's get to the unusual activity, shall we? Taking a look at iQIYI, bullish call buying, stocks 26.46. They're buying the Feb 35 calls. February 35 calls. So in a week, is the stock going to move from here to 35? Maybe. Oh, I'm sorry, 2 weeks. These are 26th of February. 2 weeks. So is the stock going to make a move of, $8.50? Maybe. But I like trading something a little closer to the money. So instead of trading this one with the stock at 26.46, I like trading something a little closer to the money. You have to decide what's appropriate for you. I've put my trade on in this one, and I like the upside. This one's kind of been meandering, as you see. It's just unchanged on the day. If you'd like to learn how we do what we do, go over to MarketRebellion.com/get started. Then you can see stock and strategies for trading stock, options and beginning, intermediate, advanced strategies for option trading and technical analysis. You can also get cryptocurrency, all of that at MarketRebellion.com/get started is how you can get started. And you can start learning this weekend. You just go over to MarketRebellion.com/get started, check out the offerings, decide which one's right for you. Do you need a coach? Do you need a mentor? Do you just want to do remote learning? We've got it all at MarketRebellion.com/get started. All right. How about this one? Tanker play, 1304, and they're buying 1750 upside calls. That's $4.50 out of the money, folks. That's a lot. They're paying 15 cents for them, March 1750s. They bought 12,000. That's 1.2 million share equivalent. But I like the idea in Teekay Tankers of buying the 1250 calls instead. As you see, the range on the day is $1.05 to $1.35. I like doing that trade all day long. So check that out instead of me jumping in there and buying an out-of-the-money call for 15 cents. I'd rather say, maybe they have something going on here. I'm going to buy a March call. I have several months to be right, basically 2 months to be right. And I like the upside from here. We keep rallying. I'll sell upside calls into it. Subscribe? Yeah. One more tease. Get over there to our YouTube site. On YouTube, search bar, type in Market Rebellion, click subscribe. Thank you. All right. The lovely Mel Lee on with my brother Pete from his den back in Minnesota. Unusual option activity today. Pete talked about Wells Fargo. He owns Wells Fargo calls at the May 37.50 strike. He intends to hold it for many months. Bang. Love that trade, Pete. He also has Carnival. He plans to hold this one for 2 weeks. What is this trade with the stock at 2074? The trade is that. Carnival Cruise, bullish call buying with stock at 2063. Again, when Pete was on 2074, stocks at 2063, 13,000 of the 26th of February 21 calls. So they're buying basically the at-the-money call. They bought 13,500 of them, folks. That is a lot. Paid 84 cents. Like the trade, although I bought the 20s and sold a higher strike just because that's how I roll. But nonetheless, like the risk reward, 2 weeks in this trade, got to be addressing volatility, that's V, and theta, which is time decay. Got to address both of those quickly because, again, we're not even going to have the 2 full weeks because Monday is a holiday. Monday's MLK Day, so we will not be open in the markets. Let's get to the questions. At Jon Najarian, at 3, the word at 3_UOA. That's for all our friends listening on Sirius Satellite Radio. That's how you'd send us questions. All right, Scott Van Eck asks, hey, John, you are good at explaining things. What the heck is a SPAC and why is it such a big deal? Well, because Scott, as you know, a lot of people, and by the way, Scott's handle is at SAVEME1. In other words, save me one. A SPAC is a vehicle that allows the operator of that vehicle, like Chamath, and I soon will be announcing a SPAC. Yes, that's right. I will. It's already in the works. But a SPAC is basically a special purpose acquisition company. And what do? Instead of companies coming public through an IPO or initial public offering, many will elect to be purchased in a SPAC. In other words, let's say you had a privately held company and you were thinking about an IPO. That might take you months to get it out there. But if I have a SPAC and I go out and I buy you, that company that wants to go public, and I basically give you a stake in the SPAC, so now we're sort of partners. That company is out there and freely trading now. I mean, 35 days after, roughly 35 days after you have your funding and have the paperwork filed, bang, this thing is trading on the NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange, which means it's liquid. And you don't have the same lockup periods that many investment banks ask for companies that they bring public. There's a whole host of reasons why this is so popular right now. And like I say, I'll be announcing something about this shortly. FSR, Robert Nadon, and his handle is at Robert Nadon. He asks, are you still in Fisker? Not anymore. I took profits a little early, it looks like, but I more than doubled my money. Bang! Giddy up! If there is still room to run, I may be interested in getting back in. If not, what else you got? Well, Fisker, I love the company. You know I love EVs because I've talked about them for months and months. You know I love lithium companies, and I'm an advisor to one of them that I told you about yesterday, ABML, American Battery and Mining. I love that one. They basically are recycled lithium as well as mining. And I think the recycled part is why that stock is going to zoom significantly higher. And full disclosure, I'm long a lot of that stock. So I'm not trying to talk it up. I am a true believer, as they say, because I put my money where my mouth is. All right? But does Fisker have room? Sure it does. Does Solo have room? Sure it does. Does EPV have room? Sure it does. Does Tesla have room? Sure it does. Look at all these EV companies, folks. There's plenty of room, even though you've got GM coming into the space, Ford, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, everybody's coming in. I think there's a little room for everybody. It's just a question of who dominates. Right now, that party is Tesla, with nearly 500,000 cars delivered last year. KDP, love 3 at 3, watch it every day, says at Art Vandelay 345. I love Art Vandelay. I love Seinfeld. So anyway, love 3 at 3, watch it every day. Just curious, why did you sell your KDP calls? I bought some too. Should I hold them into earnings? April 32s. You could. I basically was looking at it, and every once in a while, my spidey sense that I thought was right, tells me, let's take this money and put it in another play. So I cut and moved on to another play. I don't have anything more than that. My keel, I just decided that's what I wanted to do. As far as Dan Stonks, OTC 2021, he says, how did you come across ABML and become an advisor to the company? What about the company convinced you this was a worthy investment? All right, I'll tell you. Number one, I love the CEO, Doug Cole. Number two, they have one of the top folks from Tesla who's on there as well. Now, who do you think you sell lithium to these days? Everybody. But who's the biggest buyer? Tesla. So the fact that the CTO is a former Tesla gentleman and MIT scientist, those two things were big drivers for me. The other was that anybody else who's recycling lithium, in many cases, especially in Chinese cases, because they recycle lithium, they do it in a very destructive way. They put a lot of stuff up the chimney because they use brute force to do it. Crush that battery and put it up the chimney. All that bad stuff floats up into the atmosphere. Don't like that. I like the way these guys do it. I think they are a true green company. I think that the new president, Biden, is a huge fan of green energy. I think this is going to be one of his signature parts of his administration, is pushing us green as far and as fast as he can. And ABML is a stock that will benefit in a big way. But I'll have more on that. Let's see here. Am I at the end of it? I am. That's the last slide. Well, thank you for joining me today, folks. Hope you have a great day. I got to get rolling. I got a couple trades to get out of. And then we've got the cocktail hour with our subscribers at 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern. So have a great weekend. Be careful. Remember, Monday we're closed. Fair May. We're closed because it is Martin Luther King Day. So let's be ready. Actually, what am I saying? It's President's Day. I'm sorry, folks. You get a little too distracted when you're just sitting in your office. I used to like it when there were a lot of people around. Now I'm up here by myself most of the time. So you understand why I'm a little stir crazy. But nonetheless, thank you. President's Day closed on Monday. We'll be back on Tuesday. Bang.